So, I recently found out that the canceled Venom movie has not been canceled. Actually, not been canceled at all. What I recently found out was not only did they revamp the Venom story, but they're like done. I don't know if they're done filming, but they started filming it. Like, this is not in production. Oh, that would technically be in production, but like they are producing a Venom movie. And when I found out that they resurrected this absurdly stupid idea, I just started laughing. I just sat there and I asked myself this question. I was like, does Sony as a movie company, do they like want to fail? Do they want to throw millions of dollars away into nothing? Because there's easier ways to throw away millions of dollars, by the way. There's lots of ways you can take millions of dollars and just throw it away. And producing a Venom movie is not the most efficient manner of which to get rid of millions of dollars. Honestly, creating a solo Venom film is one of the dumbest movie ideas I have ever heard in my entire life. I don't even know what pitch it even was that was created to sell this atrocity of an idea. But whoever pitched this idea, you have a gift, my sir. You have a gift for selling incredibly shitty, terrible movie ideas. And I hope it does you well in life. I hope you get all the money you want from being able to do that. Because this is horrendous. This is a stupid idea. But they've already made it, or they're in the process of making it. So, this movie is going to fail. And I'm making this video to explain to you, the viewer, as to why a solo Venom film is going to fail. It's going to perform terribly, horribly. No one is going to watch that movie. Okay, well, someone's going to watch the movie, but it's not going to be a good movie in any capacity of the word. You mark my words. When that Venom movie drops in 2018, come back to this video and you'll be all like, yeah, that nigga was right. This movie was garbage. And I will explain to you why that movie is going to be garbage, my friends. Garbage, my friends. Okay, so let's start off with this. One of the most important things about Venom as a character is the fact that no one gives a fuck about Eddie Brock, okay? That's number one reason why this movie is going to perform terribly. As a character, no one cares about Eddie Brock. As I say the words Eddie Brock, most people are probably going to be like, who is that nigga? Most people, because they don't care. So obviously Eddie Brock is Venom. I mean, context clues, you figure that shit out. But as a character, even in comic books, like Eddie Brock comes back, like he's just kind of sprinkled around every now and again. He just kind of appears and then he goes away and he comes back, you know. But no one really cares about Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock is not really any compelling character, any compelling force in Marvel Comics, and he certainly won't be in his own standalone movie because there's nothing interesting about Eddie Brock except for his relationship to Spider-Man. See, the thing that makes Venom an interesting character is not Venom, is his relationship to Spider-Man. It is the fact that he is an antagonist to Spider-Man. And not just Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. See, the interesting thing about a lot of Spider-Man villains is that they usually don't have a personal relationship with them. Now, in the movies, they always do. I don't know why, but like even in the MCU, they always have some personal relationship to him. Really, in a lot of Spider-Man comic books, in like old Spider-Man villains, Spider-Man was just some guy that they came across on a regular appearance because they were bad guys. They were doing other stuff and Spider-Man stopped them. They weren't Spider-Man's dad's best friend, you know, they weren't some guy that worked with his father. It was none of that. It wasn't his teacher. Well, Dr. Carnage was, but like usually the villains in Spider-Man, they just were kind of there, you know. They were just, Spider-Man stopped them. Venom was different. And so far as he was a personal antagonist to Spider-Man and Peter Parker, Venom hated both Spider-Man, like Eddie Brock hated Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was a jerk, and he hated Peter Parker, because Peter Parker ruined his job and whatnot. That was under the influence of the symbiote, but that's not here nor there. The point is, Venom has a personal hatred against Spider-Man personally. Venom is not some bad guy that wants to take over the world. He's not some crazy lunatic that just wants to destroy stuff or anything like that. He hates Spider-Man. You're never gonna find a Doctor Strange story where he's fighting Venom. At least I don't think. It would be strange if you did. You'd never. Tony Stark wouldn't care about Venom. No, Venom is a personal foe only to Spider-Man. He only hates Spider-Man, so there's no other motivating factor to whatever Venom does. I know there's like Venom Lethal Protector, but it was a comic book that came out like probably before I could even like read. I don't know. I never looked into it because I don't find Eddie Brock a compelling character on his own right. I find him compelling and interesting because he's a personal antagonist to Spider-Man. That's what makes Venom an interesting character. Venom is like the literal antithesis to Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man. He's anti-Spider-Man. I hate Spider-Man. I want to kill this guy. I hate Peter Parker. I hate everything that is Spider-Man. They're not two separate people. He hates both of them. He was also another interesting villain because he was fucking with Spider-Man. He was messing with Spider-Man. He was mentally torturing him, something that only the Green Goblin was ever able to do. That makes, again, what makes Venom an interesting character is how antagonistic he is towards Spider-Man. How Spider-Man has to defeat an adversary that has all of his powers. His spider sense doesn't work. He knows his secret identity. He's somewhat stronger than Spider-Man is. Like, how is Spider-Man going to overcome this creature of collective hatred? That's what makes Venom a compelling villain. Venom is not a compelling solo character. There's nothing about... Eddie Brock doesn't have any like modus operandi that I am aware of that makes him interesting or that makes him do anything outside of fight Spider-Man. So creating a solo Venom film on a character whose relationship is entirely antithetical to another character is unto itself absurdity. It just sounds dumb. Now, maybe perhaps you could create like a Flash Venom, like a couple of years later, well, not even a couple, it was like decades later, Flash Thompson ended up getting the Venom symbiote in Project Rebirth 2.0. They tried to recreate a new super soldier, except instead of a super soldier serum, they pretty much nerfed the Venom symbiote, and then they gave it to Flash Thompson, because in the Marvel comic books, Flash Thompson, I think, went to the Vietnam War. I think he went into combat somewhere and lost both his legs, but it was like he's full of valor, so they gave him the symbiote suit and he became Agent Venom. He became a secret covert agent. He was a part of the Secret Avengers for a while. He had his own run, which was fantastic. Agent Venom was pretty badass. Okay, Agent Venom was awesome. You could make an Agent Venom movie, but you wouldn't be able to make it solo. You wouldn't be able to make it a game without Spider-Man confronting Eddie Brock first. It would be strange to just create Agent Venom out of nowhere. That would be weird. But, I mean, Flash Thompson as Agent Venom was a very interesting character. He was awesome. You couldn't do that with the current Marvel Cinematic Universe because the Flash Thompson we have now is some dweeb. I can't imagine that dweeb getting the Venom symbiote and being any compelling force against Peter Parker. Just any compelling force against anyone. Like, I mean, he's so much of a dweeb. You can give him a superpowered black suit, and I'd still be like, fuck out of here. So, no, Agent Venom is not something that could possibly be done. That'd be a total waste of time and effort. Just like any solo Venom film would be a total waste of time and effort, not without trying to set it up. And even then, a solo Venom film with a character that is not compelling or interesting on his own is a horrendous idea. It's just, yeah. So yeah, no one cares about Eddie Brock. So here's another thing that kind of boggled my mind. A couple of years ago, I heard that when they were going to make the Venom movie, they're going to make his antagonist Carnage. And I was like, nigga. I was like, Venom can't fight Carnage. And I was in utter disbelief that someone would suggest that in a solo Venom film he would fight Carnage of all people. See, the thing about Carnage is there's lots of things about Carnage that makes him an interesting foe again to Spider-Man because he's an antagonist. So first of all, what makes Carnage interesting as an adversary to Spider-Man is he has no personal relationship to Spider-Man at all, as in like he's not some guy Spider-Man had to fight on a regular basis. He's just some crazy serial killer. He's just a crazy serial killer that just so happened to get this red superpower that makes him hacks as shit. Because Carnage is hacks, man. So he's just some crazy serial killer. And Carnage is hacks. Carnage is stupid powerful. There is no scenario ever where Venom could fight Carnage and Venom will win. It's just not going to happen. What makes Carnage an interesting foe to Spider-Man was the fact that it forced him to work with Venom in order to stop him. Because Carnage is just that crazy strong. He's just that powerful. So to put Venom up against a foe he has an absolutely zero opportunity or chance to go against is just laughable to me. I mean, the things that make, these superhero stories interesting is the fact that there's some loophole, there's some way in which the hero can overcome their opponent. But considering the fact that the symbiote that Carnage is not responsive to the same weaknesses the Venom symbiote has. Like Carnage, like every time a symbiote spawns another symbiote, its other weaknesses are like lowered down. So Carnage is not affected by fire and sound waves the same way Venom is. It's not going to hurt Carnage that much. And it's not like Venom could do that in a fight with Carnage. He'd probably lose the symbiote and lose all his powers, and then it'd just be Eddie Brock versus the serial killer, and don't really see how that's going to work in his favor. So there's no scenario where Venom is going to defeat Carnage. It would be a horrendous idea. And even if they did do that, again, they would take away what makes Carnage such an awesome foe for Spider-Man, is the fact that he forces Spider-Man to work with another opponent, Venom, in order to beat him. So you're taking two characters who are interesting villains because of their relationship to the hero, and you're removing the hero, and you're putting them in a movie, and I'm supposed to think that this is going to be interesting and compelling in some way. Yeah, no, I just don't. I don't believe it. I don't think that would be a good idea. Here's another reason why a Venom movie would not make sense. See, the thing about Venom is the fact that he's anti-Spider-Man, and the fact that he has all of Spider-Man's powers, but he's black. Okay, and he has fangs, and that's really cool. But he's this big muscle-bound guy, and Spider-Man is this slim, lean chap who just, flips around. Venom's this big bodybuilder. But the thing about it all is, it's not just so much he's antithetical. The reason why Venom even has Spider-Man's powers is because, the symbiote suit was attached to Spider-Man for a while. So, if you remove Spider-Man from there, you just have the Venom suit. So the question is, why would it have any of Spider-Man's abilities at all if it never attached to Spider-Man? Like, why would this alien suit of phenomenal power and ability ever touch the abilities of a spider? Because honestly, if you look at Spider-Man's power set, they kind of suck, okay? And I'm saying this as someone who... Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, by the way. His power set is terrible. He can walk on walls. No. He shoots webs. Oh, that's cool. He's cool. He's got super strength, though. So every superhero has super... They give out super strength like candy. You get super strength. You get super strength. Spider-Man's power set... His spider sense is awesome, though. Spider-Man's spider sense is the best superpower ever. But Spider-Man, apart from that, is just... His power set isn't the greatest ever. So it's not his power sets that make Spider-Man great. It's his character. It's who he is. It's how he uses his abilities to beat his opponents is what makes Spider-Man great. Spider-Man's powers alone, you would rather have them than not have them. But if you could be any other superhero, like the Flash or something like that, or Magneto, even Magneto would be, a lot more reasonable than just Spider-Man. When you can have any other power than that, it doesn't make any sense that an alien suit from wherever would choose to be like a spider. It's absurd. So how would Venom obtain Spider-Man's abilities and powers if the suit never connects to Spider-Man? Why would the suit pick those powers? Of everything the suit could do, of all the powers it could gain, it wants to be like a spider? Why? So it makes no sense. So just getting to Venom without Spider-Man, just getting to Eddie Brock Venom makes no sense. There's no flow in any story or no scenario that would make sense at all. I looked it up in Wikipedia, It looks like they're gonna have She-Venom somewhere in there, and then I don't know. Again, I'm thoroughly convinced that executives at Sony sit around at a table and they say, just pitch terrible movie ideas. Like, what is the best way we can waste a bunch of money? And they're like, the Solo Black Cat movie, that's bad. These are a little worse. How about Black Cat and Silver Sable? Boom. That's a bad idea I can talk about, but I won't. So, I guess to wrap the video up, like, even with Venom Lethal Protector, which was a comic book run that actually came out before I was even alive, even in that comic book run, which it was only a short series, by the way, it wasn't like its ongoing thing, Venom still needed Spider-Man to come in at the end of the day and like help him deal with the threat and still be interesting. Eddie Brock is not a compelling character. Flash Thompson is a compelling character in the Marvel comic books. And in the cinematic universe we saw he's a dweeb, but like in the Marvel comic books, like Flash Thompson Agent Venom was one of my favorite runs of a comic book series ever. I read that from start to finish. Didn't miss a single issue. It was awesome stuff. The Flash Thompson there was a very interesting character, and one thing that was really interesting about it was the fact that Flash Thompson, if you don't know, actually really loved Spider-Man. And it was Spider-Man actually inspired Flash Thompson to even go into the army and risk his life and do everything. And what was interesting about it was obviously Flash Thompson was bullying Peter Parker throughout high school. He was antagonizing his favorite hero, and he didn't even know it. That was the interesting, you know, contradiction that was his behavior. But then you go and you find out that Flash Thompson's dad was a drunk and used to abuse him and treat him horribly. And he was, I mean, maybe it's a bit cliche, you know, the bully is being bullied, but I mean, cliche or not, I mean, that does happen in reality, so whatever. The fact remains, though, is you get to learn about his backstory, you get to learn about why Spider-Man inspired him, and then it all comes down to, like, if the best person to ever obtain a Venom symbiote that replicates Spider-Man's powers is the person who loves Spider-Man the best, which would be Flash Thompson. It was a good run. It had awesome moments, and there's one storyline called the SpiderMan, right, where it was obviously a play on the Sinister Six, but Venom, because I mean this guy's in the army, like he doesn't have the same morals like Spider-Man. I'll never kill anyone. No, like he systematically destroys the Savage Six that is messing with his life. It was a fantastic run. That was one of the earlier stories in the comic book line, though. But it was good stuff, man. It was good stuff. I mean, that would be an interesting movie, but I don't think enough people know about Agent Venom and like really appreciate Flash Thompson as a solo character. But he was a compelling force, you know, to see how he himself became an alcoholic, and how not only that, but to see his relationship with the symbiote, because it's always an antagonistic force with Spider-Man, like it's just trying to take over his life. But with Flash Thompson, he becomes his friend, like his partner, like he's actually trying to befriend this creature. He treats it as a sentient thing that he becomes friends with and that he cares about. That could be a compelling movie, but I mean, I don't know where you would fit it, you know, like how you would even create it. It'd be long the lines in production, and you couldn't have, again, the little short dweeb play Flash. So it's a movie that can never be created, which is another terrible thing that is a staple of this film. You can't make a Venom solo film and make him an antagonist to Spider-Man. It would make no sense whatsoever. There would be no reason why Eddie Brock would want to fight Tom Holland, Spider-Man, would ever fight him in any capacity. And there's no way Tom Holland could ever go up against Venom. There's no way. He's not doing it. Not the Spider-Man we saw in Homecoming. And he damn straight could not go up against Carnage. Like, here's the thing. In Homecoming, no one died. In Homecoming, like, Tom Holland that Peter Parker got away scot-free. Nothing bad happened. You put him against Venom and Carnage? It's over. It's over. It's done. Hey, Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, I need your help. There's this crazy guy, and he's cutting people's heads off, and he's impaling them, and he can't handle Carnage. So there's no way you could ever put the two of his best foes against him, because You put them off in their own solo verse. Well, actually, Carnage isn't even. They're not making a Carnage. I don't think he's gonna be in the movie. If he is in the movie, that's a horrible idea. I don't think they are. But you take Venom, this interesting character who's only interesting because he's against Spider-Man, and put him in his own movie. There's no way they'll ever be able to connect, and it would be reasonable as to why Venom would hate Spider-Man, especially not the Spider-Man we have now with Tom Holland. I don't see what you could write to where it would be feasible that a 15-year-old kid would go up against this black super suit guy, and it would make sense at all. It just would jive. It would be stupid. So, a horrendous idea. Here's the thing. It would actually make much more sense that if they made a solo Venom film before Tom Holland got the suit, before he met Eddie Brock, and it's just some other guy, he gets the Venom suit. Maybe it could be some government experiment. Maybe they found the suit from some asteroid and they've been testing it. This one guy gets it and he goes insane, he goes crazy, and it's just, him dealing with the mindset that is a Venom suit. And at the end of it all, Spider-Man finds it, and then that leads into its own story where then you could have Spider-Man fight Venom. You could do that. They're not doing that, but that would make much more sense, because having Eddie Brock, who's the antagonist of Spider-Man, being on his own is just dumb. It's just stupid. I just don't think it makes any sense. Yeah, those are my reasons why I think that the Venom solo movie will fail. No one cares about Eddie Brock as a character. No one finds him to be compelling. I don't, and Venom is one of my favorite villains of all time. Venom is only interesting in his relationship to Spider-Man and Carnage, and the fact that, one, he's the anti-Spider-Man, he tortures Spider-Man mentally and emotionally, and he's a personal adversary to Spider-Man. And the fact that he forces Spider-Man to work together with him to beat Carnage, that's what makes Venom a compelling character, or interesting to see. Venom by himself is not interesting. He's hardly even a character, he's just some guy. There's no personal motivating factor to Eddie Brock that would compel him to do anything. And as a concept of Venom by himself without Spider-Man makes no sense, because Venom gets his powers from Spider-Man. So you remove Spider-Man, well, how does he get his ability? I don't know. It makes no sense. It's a horrendous idea, and it's going to fail. It's going to be a terrible movie. You're not going to be able to make a good or compelling Venom movie without Spider-Man. You're just not. And I don't mean like some cameo of Spider-Man swing it. No, I mean he has to fight Spider-Man. If you remove that element, then you have a useless character that is not compelling and does nothing, and it's just kind of there for no reason. And that is why the Venom movie will fail. So with that being said, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. And shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.